detailed diagnostic of the business. Take a look at that and say, does it make sense to use these principles in your business? Will it make a difference? Is a coach required or not to do these things for you? Maybe, maybe not. In the end, you kind of go to this and go, yeah, I feel this way or I feel that way. And so a follow-up session that I'd like you to sign up for today would be a 2-hour session where we would schedule a time appropriately. I have 5 spots designated already. But the idea is that you would come to that session and then we would go through the details, and at the end of that session you're going to make a decision. I'm going to go with the coaching or no, I'm not. Either decision is absolutely fine, but I think it's the responsibility of myself and what we've got to offer at Action Coach to make sure you look at that. And hopefully you're in a better position to make choices, even from our session today. So what I'd like to, I got my little chart here. You can look at the dates. This is, I set it all up for next week, because typically when we do this process, what happens is that I will send you follow-up information about this, a video from Brad, little things of pieces of information that you can use to get better knowledge of things. And in the process, I set you up, kind of get your mind set up for this meeting, which is called a diagnostic. Prior to that, we'd have a coach on deck call, and we have 3 or 4 calls. So it takes about a week to kind of get ourselves lined up. And so what I'd like you guys to do here is pick one of these times and put your name in there and set up a time with me. I think there's value in that, and I think there's a lot to be gained. There are a few rules. One of the rules is that I'd like to have a business background questionnaire returned that I would give to you, and I can give that to you today. Ideally, fill it out here today, but if it's only 15, 20 minutes. But that background questionnaire needs to be back to me. I'd like to have it at least 24 hours, probably more like 48 hours before the diagnostic. Why? Because I'm going to do research, and I'm going to do research through Action Coach for everything you've got in there to bring you as much value as I can in that 2-hour session. Right? And I'll go in and businesses that are similar to yours, Keith, or insurance, they'll have other examples of what else has happened in business, in the coaching arena, and so that's the plan. So here's the times. I'll let you pass around. Take a look at your calendar and see what fits for you. I can set this up. Gotta be smarter than the thing. There it is. So take a look at those times. And if I did put one in the evening, for sure, and I don't know if that works for you, and one at 5 to 7. And I can do that if there's a challenge in finding middle of the day for you, John, or I don't know how your schedule was, I can adjust. But these are definitely spots that I've allocated for this particular event, okay? Okay. So here's some of the programs. I want to just make sure you understand what type of programs are in place. There's a one-to-one coaching type thing that I do one-to-one on a month-to-month basis or on a week-to-week basis. See right? Yeah, a week-to-week basis where I meet every week. You get a focus coaching or a coaching sheet. You need a focus weekly sheet. You write out all the things that are going on with your goals. You start to identify those. Those are what we work on each week. Again, I get that 24 hours ahead of time. That gives me the ability to prepare for the meeting that we have. And whether that meeting takes place in your office, in my office, on the phone even, doesn't matter. We can set up a schedule. Some people prefer to go every other week in their business. That's an option too. And the price range on this varies quite a bit relative to how many employees and type of things like that. But typically, we're around this kind of number for the one-on-one coaching. I also run a mentor program, all right, which may be inviting. The mentor program is where I'd have 4 people at once in a group potentially, all right, and that means I'd coach all 4 of you, and that may be good if we have common businesses or kind of similar things, but not exactly the same competitive business, in a room where we do a coaching session and I spend X amount of time with each group, but we all kind of share as a group a little bit more. That goes for about $750 a month, right, for that kind of coaching, which will again take you up the ladder, not as fast as this program, but it will move you forward. And then Growth Club I mentioned earlier, whatever program you'd be in with me, you get into this, right? And Growth Club means that you're gonna every quarter, we have an 8-hour session where you put your whole 90-day plan out that I mentioned earlier in the session. Absolutely fantastic for you, because then when you do your coaching sessions, you come back to coaching session, you're going, all right, where are we in the plan? And you kind of keep that online, keep it sync. Okay. Yours is coming up soon. Into June, we'll have our next one, 28. And then, what was the other one I want to talk about? Oh yeah, the Action Club. Action Club's a program that I'm running as well. It's an online session program that'll go for 12 weeks. It'll only be an hour a week, but I'll be doing an online program where I'll cover all of the Action Coach. I've got the curriculum here, I'll show you in a sec, but all of the Action Coach program where I'll put on a Zoom session, so you just come online and then it'll be recorded. So if you couldn't make it from 4 to 5 on Thursday night, you'd be able to catch the Zoom session within the next week before the next one's going to come out. There's worksheets involved with that program, and there's also books to read, right, that I'll be assigning. I'm not buying the books and buying, and doing a lot of correction on the worksheets. It's going to be a little self-directed, because that program I'm doing for $3.99 for the whole 12 weeks, all right? And it's really about getting as much learning as I can to everybody. I don't care if they're business students or whoever's in there. I want to share that information with them. This is the curriculum. Probably can't see it that well, but give you an idea. May 30th, which is coming up real quick next week, we'll be setting up your vision, mission, and culture. So I'll spend a whole session on that for an hour, just how to set that up. Again, there'll be worksheets that'll get out to people that they can work on them and kind of figure out what they have for that. Have they really defined that? How do they share that with their company? How do they make that part of their marketing program? On and on. Take action on vision. Now you've got a vision. What are we doing? Get into your perfect calendar. How to start coordinating, your time and so on. What are your goals and objectives? So I want to make sure we have good alignment in these first two sections. Then it's generate cash flow. How do we get cash flow up? What type of things? And we've gone through the 5-way. We actually apply the 5-way, right? And on, all the way through where I've got leadership and I got sales training and I got all the different things that can happen. This course will be a continuum, meaning that when we're done on August 15th, on August 22nd, we're starting the session this again. So somebody can come in and start here, and they're not sequential necessarily. They'll be able to take them as individual units, components. Okay? Yeah, here's old Tiger. All kinds of mixed emotions for me with this guy. But one thing for sure, no matter how tough you think you are, you can't do this on your own. That was his thing, and once he figured that out, I think he got a lot better off. We often talk about, I guess the story is that Alice Cooper made the statement about Tiger Woods and his golf, that he was so good at golf in his early days because he believed he was in a world that nobody else was. He didn't have to follow anybody's rules. He didn't have to do anything. He was it, totally it in his mind. And obviously his infidelities and all the craziness that he was involved in was a big part of that. And as soon as that was uncovered and the 5-iron or 3-iron went through the back window and he was no more invincible, what happened to his golf? The psychology of that was just powerful, I think, in bringing him down. And I said, and I've eaten my words, I said he'll never win another major. I just didn't think he ever would. Son of a gun, didn't he do it? And I have to eat my words and say how proud I am of Tiger Woods and how he turned his life around and changed the way he was. And it should be a lesson for everybody, and certainly getting help from other people, from his dad originally and all the different coaches he's had and everything out now, all kinds of people around him, has made him a much better person. And I have to say the same for my own experiences. So at 12 months from today, remember I wrote that thing up at the beginning, here you are today, in 12 months, the real question is, are you going to be here or are you going to be there? That's kind of the picture we like to paint, really, what would it take? And do you need a coach to do that? You have to make that call. In some cases, it's absolutely critical. In other cases, I'd say, depends on your discipline, depends on who you are. You can pick it up and do it. You can learn everything I've talked about here in books. You know, but it's the coach that creates the responsibility and the accountability to keep you on track, because there's a tendency to get bored. And that's the number one reason people actually do use coaches, right? Is that keeping me online. So, you know you made a good decision when it brings up either fear or excitement, Brad Sugars. So, this is the complimentary 2-hour business session I referred to. Sign up now. I think that's where we end the presentation.